Right now at 10, Wisconsin police officers across counties are working together to take down drugs. We speak with officers involved in the efforts. And pharmacies are struggling to keep ADHD medication in stock after an uptick in people seeking help during the pandemic. Plus, we now know when La Crosse's new Hy-Vee will open its doors to shoppers.
You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 10. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Amy is off tonight. Every day, officers across the state are collaborating to take down drug operations. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen checked in with those agencies.
Heavy drug use affects all of us.
What it does to these communities, the thefts, the burglaries, the child neglect and abuse, the stuff just skyrockets.
This isn't just a problem in La Crosse. Executive Officer for Wisconsin State Patrol, Lieutenant Nate Clark, knows well.
Narcotics distribution is essentially just like any other distribution of commodities. They're brought into hub locations. Generally, those are going to be the bigger cities, and then they're broken down into smaller amounts and distributed out to smaller distributors and dealers.
And at the street level, local officers like Rob Walensky keep watch in neighborhoods.
It only really takes relatively speaking, a small amount of drugs to create a lot of problems in a little town like that.
And on the interstate.
It's really upon the trooper or inspector, or any law enforcement officer for that matter, to communicate with the occupants of those vehicles and look for those indicators of drug activity.
Those searches can lead officers to a bigger problem, but they can't find it alone. Inter-county collaborations are essential.
In order to be effective, you have to reach outside your area.
They use county connections to reach out across the country and tackle the source.
Logically, you deal with this guy that's bringing in the 2 pounds, and then you don't have to deal with all these people here with the gram they're getting from them.
Without these connections, change wouldn't be possible.
So we got to do better, and so that's what we're trying to do every day, just get better and make a difference.
In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
As overdose numbers rise in the state of Wisconsin, Walensky says a common source for those is fentanyl. Because of its potency, it often is laced in other substances without users knowing it. Walensky adds that they have not seen or heard of rainbow fentanyl being in the area, but Emily will continue this story in the future. She'll explore the kind of collaboration taking place between county task forces. And in the meantime, fentanyl test strips are widely available for those in need. La Crosse County has them available throughout the community. Sean Hawk will go to trial for the alleged killing of 32-year-old Sarah Latimer. Along with homicide, he is charged with multiple counts of repeated domestic abuse. Hawk was in court for a preliminary hearing today. An investigator for the Sparta Police Department took the stand and answered questions about the events leading up to Latimer's death. He says Latimer's mother contacted the police department the day before her death with text messages and pictures from her daughter showing injuries.
She called to have a welfare check done on Sarah because she had received text messages and picture messages from Sarah. Her little picture was a picture of her face where she had swollen lips, and looked like she was laying on Sean's arm.
Hawk's arraignment will happen November 9th, where he is expected to enter a plea. Following the preliminary hearing, Hawk was sentenced for previous domestic violence charges to 15 months in prison and 2 years of extended supervision. North side of La Crosse business owners met with local political candidates today. The North La Crosse Business Association hosted the event at the Black River Beach Neighborhood Center. Congressional candidate Brad Paff and State Assembly candidate Chris Woodard met with the residents. And La Crosse County Sheriff candidates Fritz Leinfelder and John Siegel met with our photographer. Drugs and crime are issues that are on both of the candidates' minds, but the two have different approaches to combat the issues.
We have people that are breaking into homes, breaking into cars, which creates victims. We have to look out for our victims in La Crosse County.
We have to be able to work within the addiction community to say, we can help offer these resources and understand that people are going to fail, they're going to relapse, but we have to slow down the demand.
Both candidates currently work in the sheriff's office, Leinfelder as an investigator and Siegel as the captain of investigators. Time now to switch gears and talk some weather with First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean for a quick look at your forecast.
All right, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it was gorgeous today. We had temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Made it to 70 in La Crosse, 70 in Eau Claire, 70 in Decorah, 66 in Prairie du Chien. Boscobel, you made it to 73 degrees. 67 was the high in Viroqua. And right now we're seeing temperatures in the 50s and 60s. 52 in Sparta, Double Nichols, 55 in Viroqua, as well as Black River Falls and Preston and Decorah, 54 in Prairie du Chien, 54 in Boscobel, 58 is the current temperature in Eau Claire. So the radar scan right now, we have a clean sweep across the area. Had a nice little passing shower across the southern part of the News 8 Now viewing area, but that has since pushed its way through. We are left with mostly cloudy skies. Let's help you plan your Thursday. We'll see temperatures going into the 60s by the 11 o'clock hour. Upper 70s, or upper 60s, I should say, by the 2 o'clock hour. And then as we go into the 8 o'clock hour, we'll see temperatures going into the 60s. Now, that's not right, because we're actually going to see temperatures in the 50s tomorrow. That was today's information. Now, coming up in the first alert forecast, we'll talk about temperatures going into the, hey, there it is right there. Temperatures are going to stay in the 50s, and we go to 49 by the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow. Now, we're going to talk about some places seeing highs in the upper 40s coming up in a few minutes. Ken, over to you.
All right, thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Well, worldwide, about 5% of children and 3% of adults have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Depending on the severity of the person's ADHD, medication is one of the options to treat it. But as News 8 Now's Dua Israr explains, ADHD medication is now experiencing a shortage, and getting your prescription filled can be seriously delayed.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the most common telehealth visits was for ADHD.
It's much easier to make an appointment with a physician just to be treated for attention deficit disorder.
ADHD is a chronic condition. Its symptoms include being hyperactive, impulsive, and having difficulty focusing.
I was diagnosed probably as a 13-year-old, so this would be about middle school to freshman year.
ADHD affects all ages and can be treated using medication.
I actually just got prescribed medication, so I'm waiting for it to come in.
A sharp increase for ADHD medication during the pandemic has now led to a shortage.
So there's a much higher demand, and the manufacturers are unable to keep up with supply.
Nursing student Margaret Beiswanger is just one of the people nationwide struggling to get her medication.
It's difficult to obtain all three of those. Especially with changing my dosages.
Beiswanger says getting her prescription used to take 1 to 2 weeks.
But now it's more like 3 to sometimes even 4 weeks. I do stretch what I have to make it last.
Clinical manager at Gunderson Health System Mark Ertz says there are some solutions.
Could be as simple as switching strengths, a higher dose, cutting it in half, or a lower dose, doubling it to make the appropriate dose work for that patient.
Ertz says people with ADHD should fill their prescriptions sooner rather than later.
If you stay on top of it, it can be avoided.
So patients can go on with their everyday tasks.
Now, Ertz says the shortage isn't expected to last forever. He says it should ease up in the coming weeks. Health experts say if you're having difficulty filling your ADHD prescription, you should talk to your local health provider. Switching gears, a buck at a Vernon County deer farm has been confirmed positive for chronic wasting disease. The farm has been placed under quarantine and no live or dead animals are allowed to leave the property. The Wisconsin and U.S. Department of Agriculture will investigate the case further. Now, research suggests humans, cattle, and other animals are resistant to the disease, but it's still important to reduce exposure because there are no treatments or vaccines for the disease. Get your reusable grocery bags ready. Hy-Vee confirms that the new La Crosse location attached to Valley View Mall opens October 18th. Construction on the new store started last fall. Hy-Vee officials say they're hoping this store will provide roughly 600 jobs to the area. Still ahead tonight at 10, a new block party is coming to Sparta. Firefighters are holding a fundraiser to try and help them update some of their equipment. And later, keeping your feet and your brain active. There's a new story walk at Westby Elementary School, open for all ages.
Meet Brad Paff. He never had a job outside of politics. Seriously, he hung around long enough to climb that political ladder. He'll never fix Washington. He won't even try. Me, I spent 26 years fighting for our country. I served as a Navy SEAL, and I know how to get things done. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message. Let's try something different. Let's change the people we're sending to D.C.
Minwax has a challenge for you. Open a yellow can and keep on finishing. Keep on finishing this and this. Oh, and in here. That looks good. With Minwax, you can keep on finishing this and these.
What do you think?
Love it. And I love this too. And now at Menards, get 11% off all Minwax stains so you can create the custom looks you need to keep on finishing. Get it at Menards.
Violent crime up across Wisconsin. Families nervous about their safety. Yet Mandela Barnes called for releasing half of Wisconsin's jailed inmates. That would mean releasing over 10,000 criminals right into our neighborhoods. 10,000 reasons your family would be in more danger. Barnes also supported defunding the police. 10,000 more criminals with fewer police to protect us. What could go wrong? Wisconsin Truth Bank is responsible for the content of this advertising.
All you bookworms out there better not miss out. The Friends of the Onalaska Library are having their annual fall book sale starting tomorrow. Over the next 3 days, head over to the Onalaska Public Library where you can buy some books, DVDs, CDs, or magazines for less than $1. The sale will be open tomorrow from noon to 6, then Friday from 9 to 5, and Saturday 9 to noon will be a bag sale to sell the rest of the items. And all the money from the event will be used toward library programs and future purchases. The Golden Rule sailboat sailed into La Crosse today, bringing with it a mission of peace. The historic sailboat started sailing in 1958 as a peace ship to stop nuclear weapons testing. Veterans for Peace sponsors the newer version of the boat, but the mission to prevent nuclear war remains the same, especially with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
So this is a very important war to stop before it turns nuclear, and what we're advocating for is get to the negotiating table as soon as possible. Be serious about the negotiations.
The Golden Rule will be stopping in over 100 ports along the Mississippi and will be leaving early tomorrow morning for Prairie du Chien. Fire Prevention Week begins on Sunday, and the Sparta Area Fire Department is getting a head start on educating the community while having a little fun. The department is hosting its first ever block party. The fundraiser will have live music, a beanbag tournament, and demonstrations with the department's new fire extinguisher prop. Kids will get to meet firefighters and get an up-close look at the trucks. The department is hoping to raise thousands of dollars to update their communication systems.
Some of our radios are pushing 15 to 18 years old. Some of them are susceptible to water. They're not waterproof, and so unfortunately when we go out on calls and if they get just a little bit of water in them or moisture, they don't operate correctly.
So the party begins with an open house of the department at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Music from local country band Blue Collar 40 begins at 6. Still ahead, car features keep steering us toward full automation. One of the latest features wants to stop for you, but the system is far from perfect.
In the world of weather, we had temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Now we're going to drop those temperatures. Some places seeing highs in the 40s. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Come to Sparta Fall Fest. Visit our vendors, farmers market, participate in the street graffiti event, and take a turn at axe throwing. There's fun for everyone and even more activities than mentioned. Go to bikesparta.com for a complete list of events or visit us on Facebook.
Ron Johnson and China. Here's how it works. While in the Senate, Johnson made $57 million from a family business whose growth was directly linked to China. He invested in Chinese factories, and Johnson's family business got $50 million in loans from the Bank of China. Johnson pushed for shipping American jobs overseas while he got rich. Ron Johnson's out for himself, not us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
Where does electricity come from? It comes from here. And here. And here. At Excel Energy, we work to keep that energy reliable and safe by constantly monitoring and protecting the grid. Because while it's important where electricity comes from, we're just as focused on getting it where it's going safely. This is how the future is made.
I'm Sheriff Jim Johnson. I'm Sheriff Eric Severson. We've got the real story on Mandela Barnes. Barnes wants to defund our police, but he spent over $600 grand of your money on police protection for himself. Barnes wants to eliminate bail for violent felons, and his administration has already released over 800 criminals, including 44 child rapists. Take it from us. Mandela Barnes policies are a threat to your family.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need tractors rated #1 in durability and owner experience so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for 48 months, plus save up to $1,100.
Come to Sparta Fall Fest. Visit our vendors, farmers market, participate in the street graffiti event, and take a turn at axe throwing. There's fun for everyone and even more activities than mentioned. Go to bikesparta.com for a complete list of events or visit us on Facebook.
Fall Home Show going on now at the Board Store. Visit today and see what's new and get your $250 discount coupon. Register for prizes and visit with designers. Hope to see you soon.
Technology now in about 90% of new cars can hit the brakes even if the driver fails to. But according to a new report, it doesn't always work. Danya Backus has the story.
Test video from AAA shows how automatic emergency braking can prevent a rear-end accident. The feature uses cameras and sensors to detect a vehicle.
And it will apply the brakes if the driver does not.
AAA's Megan McKernan was part of the research that tested vehicles from 4 automakers.
And we found at 30 miles an hour, 85% of the time the vehicle either came to a complete stop or significantly mitigated the speed.
But when the speed was increased to 40 miles per hour, the car stopped only 30% of the time. And when researchers looked at left-hand turns, every vehicle failed to stop. The same was true when the cars encountered another vehicle in an intersection. In every test, there was a crash.
Research has shown automatic braking not only struggles at higher speeds, but also in the dark.
The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety recently tested 23 vehicles approaching a pedestrian at night. Only 4 received a superior rating.
About half of the vehicles received either no credit or a basic credit rating, which is our bottom 2 ratings.
Despite the results, experts support the technology.
AAA is definitely an advocate of this feature, and we just want to see automakers continue to refine and improve the systems.
McKernan says it's important to remember these systems have limitations and drivers need to stay alert at all times. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And car experts say that you should have your brakes checked every year and to make sure you take your car in for those annual checkups. Time now to switch gears and send it over to First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean with a look at our forecast.
All right, good evening, Ken. Good evening, everybody. Hey, it was gorgeous today. We had temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Right now, we're seeing cloudy skies across portions of the Coulee region. Right now, we're seeing partly cloudy skies at the airport. Look at that temperature of 58 degrees. Dew point's 53, so some places could see a little patchy fog in the overnight hours going into the morning hours. Humidity is sitting at 84%. We have winds out of the south-southeast at 6 miles per hour. Numbers for today made it to 70 after a morning start of 50. 67 and 46 is where we should be for this time of year. So here's what I'm keeping an eye on as we go into the overnight hours. Maybe a splash and dash shower or two, not out of the question. Much cooler temperatures will be ahead starting tomorrow. And we'll see a brief quote-unquote warm-up. You'll see why I put that in quotes coming up on the 8th day in just a couple minutes. Nothing on the radar scan right now. We are seeing some false echoes across the Coulee region. Like I said, not going to run a stray shower or two in the overnight hours. The majority of us will stay mostly cloudy. So when you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the 40s and 50s will greet you. 48 in Black River Falls, 49 Sparta, 52 Viroqua, Double Nichols, 55 in La Crosse, 53 in Winona, 53 in Decorah, 52 in Eau Claire. So here's Sky Tracker. Will help you plan your Tuesday. We'll start the day off with mostly cloudy skies. That trend will continue as we go into the late morning, early afternoon hours. The clouds will start to dissipate as we go into about the 3-4 o'clock time frame, only to fire back up again by the afternoon, or excuse me, by your evening and overnight hours. Now, highs tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we're only going into the 50s and 60s. 56 in Winona, 58 La Crosse, 58 Decorah, 62 Prairie du Chien, 63 in Boscobel. So some places won't even move much tomorrow in terms of the high end. Some places will actually see their high in the early morning hours, and then temperatures will fall throughout the day. That takes us to Friday. So you see this cool front right here. This is going to sag through the Coulee region Thursday night going into Friday, and when it does, it's going to do 2 things. One, it's going to keep us dry. But 2, it's really going to cool us off because we're on the leading edge of this high pressure system with winds staying out of the north. And you think tomorrow's cool? Wait till you see Friday. Some places won't even see highs in the 50s. Winona, you're only going to 49. Preston, you're only going to 48. Decorah, you're going to 49. 47 will be the high in Eau Claire. So the details of the first alert forecast for tonight. Splash and dash shower 2 not out of the question. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Mid-50s will be the low with a nice calm wind. For tomorrow, like I said, we're only going to 58 degrees. Rain chances in the early morning hours not out of the question. The majority of us will stay mostly cloudy. Clouds will decrease in the afternoon, early evening hours. Winds will be out to the north at around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25 miles per hour the next 8 days. Has temperatures going into the upper 40s, low 50s for Friday, upper 50s for Saturday. Then that warm up I was talking about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have that brief cameo of 60 degrees, if you will. Rain chances pick up Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we go back into the upper 50s as we go into next Thursday. Now, Ken, like I said, keep in mind our average high for this time of year is 67 degrees, and that number is quickly dropping as we go into October.
All right, embracing fall. Thanks, Eric.
You bet.
Coming up next in sports, the Brewers and Twins wrapping up their regular seasons, plus the Packers gearing up for their trip overseas. For the players, it's primarily a business trip. Rob's in next.
News 8 Sports is brought to you by Mayo Clinic Health System. Whether you need routine care or treatment for a complex condition, Mayo Clinic Health System has convenient and safe options for the care you and your family need.
It's a pattern we can't ignore. Multiple women accuse cop Dave Estenson of abusing the badge, trying to coerce them into sex acts for years. They said Estenson asked teens for sexual favors to avoid underage drinking citations and threatened to plant evidence on one teen if she told anyone. Still another teen said Estenson sexually assaulted her. He couldn't be trusted as a police officer, and he can't be trusted as state senator.
Nice welcomes you. Nice has your back. Nice laughs at your jokes. Nice goes out of its way just to make sure. At Western National Insurance, nice is more than, well, nice. It's our whole deal. And when you experience it, it's pretty nice. Western National Insurance, the power of nice.
What is fall in Prairie du Chien like? Stunning. Fun. Historical. Traditional. Tasty. Fall in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin is just about as perfect as it looks. We'll see you in Prairie du Chien.
There's no other place where my story is possible. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked third shift. It was our ticket to the middle class. That's the promise of America I'll fight to protect. While others send our jobs overseas, I'll bring manufacturing back, invest in our own workers, and stock our shelves with American products. And with a middle class tax cut, you'll be able to keep more of what you earn. I know the promise of America, and no one will fight harder to protect it. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
News 8 Now Sport.
What a year it's been so far for the UW lacrosse soccer team. The Eagles have soared past the competition, just one loss on the year, a 9-1-1 record, and UWL at home tonight looking for its second conference win of the season. Let's go to the pitch. Eagles hosting UW River Falls tonight. This one all UWL from the first whistle. Isabel Batley, the pass to Ainsley Allen, right place, right time. It's 1-0 Eagles just 4 minutes in, then 5 minutes later, Ellie Arndt trying to get some space, and the right foot rocket hits the back of the net. Eagles jump ahead by 2. Less than 2 minutes later, Alexis McMahon joining in on the fun. She rifles one home. Look at the spin. Incredible shot there. Makes it 3-0. Eagles weren't done. Still in the first half, it's Arndt again finding the twine. Her second goal of the game. All UWL tonight. Eagles get the shutout win 6-0 as they improve to 10-1-1 on the year. The Viterbo women's volleyball team has won 7 of its last 8 matches. The V-Hawks are 15-6 on the year so far. 5-0 in conference play. They'll be looking to make that 6-0 tomorrow night as they host Dakota State. The high school volleyball season is winding down, and a couple of big matchups tomorrow night in the MVC. Holman still holds a 1-game lead over Aquinas. Vikings will be home hosting Central. And in the Cooley Conference, Westby looks to remain perfect in conference play. They got a scare last night against West Salem, but they improved to 20-1 on the year. Westby's at Black River Falls tomorrow night. Well, they saved the best for last. The NFL started scheduling games in London back in 2007, and for the past 15 years, only one team hasn't made the trip overseas, but that'll change on Sunday when the Green and Gold step on the field in the UK to take on the Giants. It hasn't been pretty so far for the Packers, but since their Week 1 loss, Green Bay's reeled off 3 straight wins and Sunday's overtime victory over the Patriots. Just the latest hurdle this team has faced just about a quarter of the way through the season. And on paper, the schedule for Green Bay looks favorable over the next 3 weeks. Now, the preparation for playing a game in London is a lot tougher because of the travel. This Packers team is looking forward to it, but the main goal is getting a win.
Just to share our game with the fans over there and see their atmosphere, and see the energy that they bring. And I hear it's a lot of Packer fans over there, so I'm excited.
Right now, the focus primarily for us is getting the game plan in place and having fun with it and enjoying the opportunity to play in front of a different country and show what we can do.
I've never been out of the country. I've never been, this is my first time, going out of the country. So I'm excited about that. For the most part, man, it's a business trip, and we got to get a win on Sunday.
It'll be an early one for Packers fans. 8:30 local time kickoff here. That game exclusively on the NFL Network. Season finale for the Brewers today. Rowdy Tellez giving his squad the lead in the 8th. A deep fly to center field, just clearing the wall here. Rowdy's 35th of the year, makes it 2-1 crew, but it's been the story of really the last couple of months for the Brewers. The lead would be short-lived because in the 9th, Josh Rojas puts Arizona back on top. A 2-run shot makes it 3-2. Brewers fall in the season finale 4-2. Twins wrapping up their season today. This one was over quick in the first. Gary Sanchez with 2 on. He crushes a no-doubter to left. Twins score 6 runs in the top of the first. They go on to win it by a final of 10-1. Speaking of the Twins, a big accomplishment for Minnesota's Luis Arraez, the 25-year-old utility player, becoming the 5th Twin in franchise history to win the batting title. Arraez finishes with a .316 average, so he just edges out eventual MVP, probably, Aaron Judge. So he ruined that triple crown for him, but he's going to, he's had a great year.
I'm sure Yankee fans will take the consolation prize of 62.
I think so, too.
Of course, the Twins would probably like it better if
get the playoffs,
get the playoffs, but hey, cool for Arraez. That guy's really burst on the scene the last
couple
of
nowhere,
years.
Yeah,
basically.
what an accomplishment. That's awesome.
And we'll just look forward to next year with the Brewers.
Yep. Every year it feels like we say the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
But it's for the first time in, 5 years that they haven't made the playoffs?
Yes, yeah, we've kind of been spoiled recently, I suppose.
But I think because you guys were in first more than half the season, it's tough because it ends so fast. Baseball, we have six months of it, and then it just ends like that.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
Thanks, Rob. More news after the break.
Thank you for watching News 8 Lacrosse. Here are tonight's winning Powerball numbers.
Long before women could vote, Wisconsin politicians wrote a law that banned abortion and jailed doctors who performed them.
The 1849 law is an exact mirror of my position.
Tim Michaels would ban abortion, even in cases of rape or incest, and send doctors to jail for performing them. It's not 1849 anymore, and while we might not have been able to vote back then, we sure can now.
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Maggie, my local Medicare plan expert. She helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Wisconsin team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
When we got pregnant with Lizzie, we were so excited. So when the complications started, it was really scary.
We never considered ending the pregnancy, but those are the kinds of decisions only a family can make. But Derek Van Orden wants the government to do it, banning all abortions, even when a woman's life is at risk.
I'm Betty.
I'm Lizzie.
And I'm Brad Paff. I approve this message because I'll never stop fighting for your right to choose.
Stop losing money through your old windows.
At Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, we don't only have the style of window you want, we have the type of window you need.
Look at the difference between our windows and our competitors. Our triple pane windows with foam help reduce energy costs, outside noise, and improves condensation resistance. Keep your hard-earned money. Call Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions today.
For a limited time, receive 24 months interest-free financing.
Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. But he says
people love working at Michaels.
Women said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
We have a great work culture.
Higher-ups called the women liars and fired those who spoke out. So when he says this,
we have a great work culture,
know that the culture comes from the top.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
Well, there's a new way for kids to get some exercise during class at Westby Elementary. The school now has a story walk. It's a path with pages of a book framed along the way. Beckham Memorial Library collaborated with the school on this project, and the library's program coordinator says this is a path to literacy, literally.
Kids love to move, they love to be outside, and this gives them an opportunity to go from frame to frame, and it gives them time to pause, to process, to think about what's going to happen next while having fun.
Conroy says the path may be at the school, but it's open to everyone to use. She hopes people of all ages come to enjoy it. And the stories will be switched out about every month. Oktoberfest royalty brought their celebration to students today. While folks at home may be missing the festive fun, Hamilton Elementary and Soda students had their own little celebration. Kids sang and danced to folk songs like Edelweiss with the Oktoberfest royal family. And one lucky student had an extra special morning.
My grandma's in Oktoberfest and I got to go up there and sing with her.
The Oktoberfest royal family will be making school and nursing home visits through Sunday. They plan to make People's Day at over 25 stops in the area. We'll be right back with a last look at your forecast.
Did you know Tim Michaels wants to criminalize abortion, even for pregnant rape victims?
But are you going to support exceptions for rape or incest?
That's correct.
Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
The weekend to-do list. It's a lot easier with the help of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Attachments connect with ease, so you can knock out every task on your list. Whether you're moving earth, leveling a path, or mowing and mulching, one thing you're not doing is wrestling with the attachments. So you actually have time to enjoy your space and work on planning the next big project. John Deere 1 Series compact tractors. Versatile, easy, and affordable. Find yours at Tractor Central.
It's a John Deere day.
No one expects to see me at their doorstep.
But it's happening more because of Tony Evers.
Evers released hundreds of violent criminals from prison.
Some of the worst offenders in Wisconsin history.
Some struck again.
And others will.
That's why we are with Tim Michaels.
He'll keep dangerous criminals behind bars.
Out of our homes and off our streets.
As a veteran, Tim Michaels knows how to keep Wisconsin safe.
We stand with Tim Michaels.
Sinking driveway, settling patio, collapsing stoop, uneven pool deck. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call American Waterworks.
No one goes all in on made-from-scratch freshness like Papa Murphy's. Because when you go all in, people notice. Go all in with the Triple Pet Pizza for just $11.99. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment. Women said they were groped and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Those who spoke out were fired. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
All right, let's go ahead and break down tomorrow, shall we? We're only going to 58 degrees for our high. We'll start the day off with rain. Clouds will decrease throughout the afternoon and early evening hours.
All right, now that the Brewers and Twins are gone, I guess we're all Mets fans for the next couple of weeks.
Are you?
Why not?
That's really nice of you.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that.
You bet.
Just take it easy on me. It's going to be a tough weekend.
We'll see you tomorrow.